Hey guys, this is Eric with Pixel Rookie, and welcome back to episode 9 of the Chronicles of Rook. Because of the huge support and high influx of fan art I've been receiving, I'm gonna save my showcase of everyone's work until the end of the video. I also wanted to announce some exciting news. We now have Chronicles of Rook merch. I asked our amazing artist, Celebrimbor, to help me with the design, and he really knocked it out of the park. Now you can show your love of the series by picking up one of these awesome shirts in a variety of styles and colors, or you can even get it as a poster. The shirts are super comfy, and I would highly recommend one of these based on my totally unbiased opinion. You can find the style of your choice below this video or click on the link in the description below. Anyways, back to the show. Last episode, Rook ventured into the mysterious and dangerous Ashlands. While he found some nice loot, he lost his precious falling son in the process. At the end of the episode, Rook's greed caused him to lose his entire left arm from a security spider that stopped him from picking a lock in an ancient building. Will Rook and Wansnot be able to escape? Rook was fading in and out of consciousness. He finally came to and realized he was stripped out of the Holy Nation armor he was previously wearing, and he was resting comfortably in a bed. He still felt a jolt of pain running through where his left arm used to be. It was a strange sensation feeling the phantom of a limb that no longer existed. But what happened? His memories started coming back. He remembered running away, hot acid rain pouring over his body, and feeling panicked. Wansnot was ahead, screaming at him to keep focused on him while they ran. That's when things went dark. He must have passed out from the blood loss then. He was lucky to have his friend Wansnot with him. He must have carried Rook back to New Raleigh and tended to his wounds there. Rook would have to thank him for saving his life when he bumped into him again. He was happy that they stripped off the heavy armor he was wearing. The whole idea of training his strength that way was a foolish decision in the first place. He felt well rested now and was able to get back up. Rook remembered something from long ago that would come in handy now. Back when he captured the cannibal Grand Wizard, he remembered that he found a masterwork skeleton arm from their capital, and he kept it in storage ever since. There it was in the chest, waiting for him all this time. Rook studied it for a minute until he finally attached it to where his real arm used to be. The masterwork limb gripped onto his shoulder and forced the connection of nerves to the wiring. The pain was immeasurable for a few seconds, and then subsided once the automatic connection finished. Just like that, Rook was fully functional again with his newly equipped skeleton arm. It felt different, but it was fully functional. He'd just need a little bit of time getting used to it. Now that he took care of that issue, he wanted to get dressed. He found his old outfit tucked away in the other building and he suited back up. It felt good being back in his old clothes. He thought the skeleton arm was a pretty good look for him too. He found Wansnot and thanked him for saving his life. Wansnot's response was that Rook saved his life first from miserable slavery. They can consider themselves even now. They both laughed as they left the gates of New Raleigh, prepared for another expedition. This time, they were heading west where some ruins were marked off on an island off the coast. They arrived in no time and they began to make their way into the water to swim to their destination. They were very unpleasantly surprised when they dipped in and realized the shore was all acid. They both yelped in pain and then scurried back to shore. Rook saw that a little further out, the ocean turned back to regular water, so he told Wansnot to wait at the shore while he made the painful swim across. It was an unpleasant swim, but he easily made it to the regular water and kept heading to the ruins. Wansnot wanted to play it safe and crept up to some high ground where he could remain hidden with a good vantage point. Rook made it to the abandoned ruins and found some chests. Inside one, he found a masterwork skeleton leg that might be useful in the future. He stuffed it into his bag and kept exploring. He found another locked box, and inside were some very valuable engineering research documents. This could advance their technology significantly back home. He stuffed them and other valuables into his bag until he couldn't carry anymore. Nothing else of interest was over there, so Rook made a quick swim back to Wansnot. The two men sat down and looked over their map for nearby points of interest. Wansnot asked what all the gray surrounding the city of Mongrel was, and he said he would like to explore that area. Rook was much stronger than his past self that explored the Fog Island solo, and he thought it might be a good idea to help train Wansnot, so they set their destination for Mongrel next. It's been a long time, but Rook finally returned to the dangerous foggy valley. The two men felt anxious as their vision slowly closed in from the thickening fog surrounding them. Suddenly, Rook stopped Wansnot. A silhouette through the mist was ahead of them. They got ready to attack the Fogman. Alone, these creatures were weak. They took it out without any issue. But in large groups, these things were quite dangerous, and the two men just attracted a whole group of them. They got back to back and stayed close together while fending off the mindless Fogmen. Rook was much more prepared this time, and having Wansnot at his side made things much easier. It took some time, but they cleared out the entire camp. They wanted to play it safe, so they made their way back to Mongrel to heal up. On their way back, they encountered another group. But these weren't the scrawny, weak fogmen that Rook was used to. These were fog heavies, which were much stronger than their regular counterparts. They were holding their own against them. That wasn't until a full group of normal fogmen diverged onto the two men. Rook knew that this was too much for them and yelled out to Wansnot to fall back. He started limping his way back to Mongrel, but more fogmen were trying to prevent him from leaving in one piece. Rook yelled out, provoking the fogmen to attack him instead. He hoped this would buy Wansnot enough time to escape safely. He held them long enough and retreated himself. He caught up to Wansnot and carried him back to Mongrel. He sighed with relief as they made it through the city's gate in one piece. He found the closest bar with available beds and paid for the two of them to rest. Wansnot was mostly healed up, and as he woke up, he spotted an interesting-looking man from afar. Wansnot caught up to the man and began to speak with him.
Hey there.
The old man was barely able to stand and looked severely annoyed with Wansnot speaking to him. The only logical thing Wansnot knew what to do was to berate him with back-to-back questions.
Hey, wait, oh hey.
The only logical thing to do now was to continually badger him to join their cause and go back with them to New Raleigh. After enough pestering, the man got fed up and decided to join their party. Like all members of Rook's cause, he found his way to the Shinobi's Thieves Guild and spoke with the plastic surgeon. Before becoming a member of New Raleigh, he was almost crippled and went by the name Crumble John. But after joining the men, his name was changed to my good buddy Ryan, and he felt 30 years younger, and looked it too. He went to the other men and they gave him a new weapon that he could actually wield, and a much nicer fragmented axe per his request. Now that they had a new recruit, they decided it was time to leave the Fog Islands and return home. As they were leaving, Wansnot was approached by another man who had a desperate look in his eyes. He confessed that he was an escaped slave from the Holy Nation and was almost killed during his getaway. Wansnot smiled and told him that he was in luck. He couldn't have run into a better group of men and offered him to join them. He simply went by the name Purple, after my friend Purple Cucumber from my Discord server. With a stroke of luck, they recruited a second man to Rook's cause. They grouped up and continued moving south. That wasn't until they got jumped by another group of fogmen. Normal men, like Ryan and Purple that weren't trained, were very vulnerable to a group of these things. Rook and Wansnot tried their best to protect them. Purple was knocked out and one of the fogmen picked him up to carry him away. Rook was trying to get them to focus on him while Wansnot went to rescue Purple. Both Ryan and Purple were knocked unconscious, but Rook and Wansnot managed to kill off the remaining fogmen. After healing up, Ryan awoke and decided to carry Purple back to Mongrel to recover and try again once everyone was back in good shape. Once they returned to the city, a strange hiver approached Ryan as he was heading to the bar to rest up. The hiver kept shouting, "Beep." After a brief conversation, the hiver explained how he wanted to become a powerful warrior, but was banished for being worthless. Now, Ryan only knew Rook for a short period of time, but he knew misfits and people looking to better themselves were exactly who Rook was recruiting and offered the hiver to join their squad. Ryan continued to the bar and both men began resting up. The hiver went by the name Beep. Go figure. But like all that joined Rook, he saw the plastic surgeon and changed his name to Awinger, after my Discord member. Now before everyone comments about why I changed Beep's name, keep in mind that I didn't know about the Kenshi subreddit's weird fascination of memes about Beep when I played through this. Sorry, not sorry. But please keep watching my videos, I'm desperate for views. Anyways, Awinger went to the bar and met the other men. Rook woke up from his slumber and welcomed him to the group before laying back down. They had a long trip ahead of them after all. That night, the men were prepared to finally try and leave the Fog Islands. Rook never expected to recruit 3 new men in the span of a day, and he knew that it could be challenging to travel with 3 fresh recruits. They tried to take high ground outside of the fog and got by without encountering any fogmen. In fact, they only ran into one encounter of starving bandits, and they were able to take them out in no time. This even gave the recruits a chance to hone their combat skills. And just like that, they arrived at the gates of New Raleigh. Hey, get out of here! Rook gathered everyone in New Raleigh together, and they took some time getting to know each other a little more. During their time breaking bread with one another, Rook kept Wansnot, Mac, and Purple with him as adventurers and tasked out jobs for the rest of the men to tend to their home while they went on their next expedition. This time, they would travel east again and see what this landmark on his map was. Tengu's Vault. It most certainly sounded promising. Rook wanted to take everyone with him, but he knew that too many untrained men in the group would be too overwhelming. He would continue taking them in smaller groups and help them train while they explored the land. The men were passing through the Deadlands again, and Rook felt a bit of PTSD while hot acid rain fell on him. They discovered a nearby location called the Scrap House right outside of the Black Desert City. It sounded like an interesting detour, so they set that location as a quick checkpoint. They realized a city that constantly had acid rain pouring on it was not really a great place for humans, and the Black Desert City had none. It was habited only by skeletons, but they stopped at the bar to get out of the burning rain for a bit. This is when Rook saw a lone skeleton sitting at a table. It felt like it was emitting a sad aura around it, so Rook decided to strike up a conversation with it. The skeleton went by the name Sadneil and was indeed a pessimistic character. Bored by life, it just sat there sulking. Rook offered for it to join them and he would add some excitement in its life. He explained his cause to stand up against the Holy Nation. After some persuading, Sadneil finally accepted his offer and joined their team as well. He was not terribly enthusiastic about it.
I hate my life.
Rook saw the scrap house not too far outside of the city and told the other men to wait for him while he checked it out. As he went into the upper room, he saw what looked like a large armory surrounded by lots of skeletons and security bots. He approached the shopkeeper and to his surprise, they had a massive stock of weapons available to purchase, including a falling sun. It was beautiful, but also way more expensive than he could afford. Disheartened, he walked off but noticed some weapon crates near the shadows. Rook did what Rook does best and he picked the lock while hiding in the corner. And there it was, another falling sun that was ripe for the pickings. Wansnot was summoned and he made his way to the scrap house to meet Rook. He went upstairs and saw Rook motioning for him to act nonchalant. Wansnot was a little concerned but casually walked over. Rook handed him a bunch of weapons that were too big for him to store in his own bag, and when Wansnot tried to ask what was going on, Rook simply shushed him and said to hold still. After Rook grabbed the falling sun, they left the scrap house acting like nothing ever happened. Rook felt like he was having a reunion with an old friend. It wasn't his falling sun, but it would be a fine replacement. After they met up with the other men, Rook and Wansnot distributed new and improved weapons to all of them. They might not be the best trained fighters, but at least they would have better than average weapons to give them a slight advantage. Their time at the Black Desert City was over, and they began making their way towards the vault marked on Rook's map. There it was. Off in the distance, they saw a structure up on a hill. Upon closer inspection, the entrance appeared to be heavily guarded though. Rook told the other men to wait back while he approached the soldiers himself. As he got closer, the guards told him that this was a secure area and if they did not leave immediately, it would be trouble for them. These guys were a bit stronger than Rook's group, so they decided it would be best to comply with their orders and went east towards the city of Heng located on their map. Rook began exploring this great desert before he rescued Tao, Wansnot, and Fravatar. He was excited to continue his exploration with the other men. They arrived to Heng quickly enough, and Rook approached the front gate to make sure they were permitted to enter. The guard gave him a nod of approval, and he proceeded to enter the city. There was a shinobi thieves tower here, and Sadneil went in for some changes. In a few minutes, he went by the name Rockius after one of my patrons. After Rockius was taken care of, the men were mingling at the bar while Rook went through the town and explored. He found an interesting looking trader's market, and as he was looking around at their wares, he noticed a little nook in the corner of their building that had some locked away goods. Rook ran past the guard who seemed to be zoning out and snuck into where the safe was located. He picked open the lock and found some extremely valuable Leviathan pearls inside. He was very pleased with his findings and took some time to see what else was there. Rook rummaged through the other chests and didn't find much else of interest outside of those pearls. He fit as many as he could in his bag. The United Cities weren't really any better than the Holy Nation anyways, and they could use that to help fund New Raleigh. Rook snuck out and found the Traders Guild headquarters nearby. He decided to go in and see what he could find. On the third floor, he found a hiver by the name of Yamdu. Yamdu looked after his master's business and seemed to be very well educated around the topics of other factions. Rook figured it couldn't hurt to ask and told him about his mission to take down the Holy Nation. Yamdu lit up at Rook's claim and agreed that the Holy Nation was a good target to be removed. His reasons were slightly different from Rook's though. What Yamdu proposed was something Rook never considered, using the Shek to wage war on them directly and crush them while they did nothing. Rook continued listening, and Yamdu explained that the Stone Golem was the only one holding the Shek back from going to war with the Holy Nation directly. If Rook was to assassinate her, he would unleash a great war between the two factions and greatly weaken, if not completely wipe out the Holy Nation. Yamdu looked at Rook and told him, to destroy the Holy Nation, you must kill the Stone Golem. Rook grew quiet and thanked Yamdu for his time. He left the HQ and went to meet with the others. He found himself lost deep in his thoughts. He could wage a war and destroy his enemy without having to endanger any of his men, but he would have to murder an innocent Shek woman and have countless Shek die for a cause he'd be responsible for. Was this price too high to pay? Rook returned to the other men. He didn't want to disclose this information with them yet. He discreetly handed Wansnot the 4 Leviathan pearls and told him not to ask any questions. Wansnot rolled his eyes and snuck them into his bag. Rook found Admag on his map, the Shek capital where Asada, the Stone Golem, resides. The men could tell Rook was lost in thought, and all of a sudden, Rook told the men to gather their things. They were leaving. Rook had a lot to consider moving forward. And this will be where we end this episode. Will Rook take the life of a Shek leader to unleash their wrath on the Holy Nation, or find another way? Keep watching to find out what happens next. Guys, thank you so much for watching. While I showcase the fan art that was received since the last episode, I wanted to make a quick announcement regarding the channel. I'm trying to turn this into a full-time gig so I can focus more of my time on making this kind of content and releasing these videos much more frequently. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so by buying some of the Pixel Rookie merch like the amazing shirt that Celebrimbor made. You can subscribe to me on Twitch and receive a special role on my Discord server and have early access to my content, become a patron with special rewards for each tier. A veteran tier status or higher will even give you exclusive access to my patron-only Minecraft server where we host fun stream events together, or become a YouTube member, which gives you the same perks as a veteran patron tier, but you also get a cool badge icon beside your name when you comment that will slowly evolve the longer you're a member. My narrative content takes a long time to create, and I would love to eventually be able to do this full time. Every contribution is greatly appreciated. Speaking of which, I want to make a special thank you to my newest YouTube member, Kona Turan. Thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it, man. And a big thanks to all my other patrons who are graciously supporting the channel so that I can one day achieve that dream of making YouTube a full-time job. I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, have a good one.